welcome to Vibes. So today, sorry, had to make sure to have a lipstick in my teeth. But today we're doing the everything I bought on impulse makeup, and was it worth it or not. I definitely can say that I have gotten a lot better in the last like 3 years or so about being very selective with what it is and what I buy. In 2019 I actually went into a no buy, and so I was extremely selective with what I brought in because it was really repurchase only, and then the only times that my boyfriend got me stuff for like Christmas or our anniversary or my birthday, those were the only times that I had a chance to like get makeup into my collection. So I had to be extremely selective, and since then I really have tried to keep that trend. I've only got a couple of things that I did buy on impulse. I just remembered I have one more. Okay, all right, I think I'm good now. I apologize for that, but I think I'm good. Okay, so all that being said, I have no idea who created this video idea, but it's definitely gone around many times. If you know who invented this idea, please let me know. I do want to give him credit. I have no idea. I've seen 1.5 million people do this video idea, so there's that. Before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you become a resident of Vibes, and let's get started. Okay, so first off, it is very hot in here. Yeah, there is a lot of ColourPop in here, a lot of it. I will say I feel like I've gotten better. I just remembered I have one more. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, I just remembered. All right, good, I'm good now. I have a lot of ColourPop. I will say there isn't as many recent things because just nobody can keep up with them, so I'm gonna separate it between like the old and the new of ColourPop, and then we're gonna go that route. So I'm gonna do all the old ColourPop stuff that I've gone through in the past that I just kind of bought instance. Then we're gonna do every other brand, and then we'll come back to the ColourPop and like the newer things that caught me, and why they caught me. Sorry, it's so hot, I'm sweating. But okay, old ColourPop. Let's start with Super Shark Shadows. So in 2017, my first Christmas with my boyfriend, I had my boyfriend buy me a bunch of like stuffings, and this Super Shadows came in. So there were more. There's less now. I finished a couple of them. So there was a quad that I got from L'Oreal Los Angeles, and No Kill LA. So that was one of the quads. Then I got 2 Rios. I can't remember. One was like Sugar and Spice. The other one was, I don't know. And now these are the only ones that I have left from those, which is still too many. I have one more over there. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 of them. I think there was a couple of more as well that I like bought singles that I had my boyfriend buy them for me. So there's a bunch of Super Shark Shadows that I just bought in impulse. Since then, I have been very selective. I did buy the Shea and ColourPop, but that wasn't an impulse buy. I was very selective with getting that because those were my kinds of shades. They were soft. It was just something that I knew I was going to use, because I do like to use my Super Shock Shadows when I'm in a rush. For example, I have to be at work from time to time at 6:30 in the morning, so there's just no time to do like a full face. So what I like to do is I grab a Super Shock, put it all over my lid, I blend the edges, and I'd like to go with like a matte or satin shade for those, and then I grab a more colorful one or a more glittery one, and then put that all over the lid, or maybe do like a half cut crease with my fingers and nothing like fancy or anything like that. And then I'll go with concealer under my under eye, blush, a little bit of highlighter, mascara, and we're out the door. And some lip balm, like tinted lip balm or something like that. So yeah, but so these are the ones I have left. These are all from 2017, so I definitely have to use them up, which is why I tried to put them in my Pan That palette last year, which that was a complete fail. These are all still here, so there's that. They're all still good. I do rotate them pretty quickly, and I do check them from time to time. They're all still good. They haven't gone bad, so I'm not really worried about that. But let's go on to the next one, because I felt like I spent way too much time. Next one, I'm gonna go over the Luxe lipstick. So this was the original launch. This all from the original launch, which was the cream formula. I was like shocked. This is my favorite kind of formula, more creamy but still pretty pigmented. So I was really looking forward to this, and I saw so many videos about people like swatching them with like different skin tones than me, but like same undertones, people with similar skin tones, even though there were different undertones. So like try to find good ones, and then of course see the ones that attracted me. And I ended up buying 5 from that initial collection, and I bought them literally the day they launched, complete impulse buy. But I got LA Lady, which is now in my winter project pan, which is like a dark warm tone. Completely worth it. Completely worth it. Oh, I completely forgot to say it. The Super Shock shadows. I do like the Super Shock shadows. I regret buying this many. I want to finish this out and just have like 5 or so, 4 to 6 in my collection at any given time, because I do use them. I just don't want to have them in. I do think it was worth it. I don't think I should have bought that many all at once. Okay, move on. So LA Lady, complete worth it. Yes, love that shade. Love it. Layover is the one that I'm wearing right now. This one broke. I've never had this happen to me before, so I had to like reattach it. That's why it's looking all kinds of weird. This is in my Deco Panning Project pan. It's the shade that I'm wearing right now. I really do like it. It's like a pinky nude, warm. Really enjoy it. Yes, this one was worth it for me. Ghosted. It's a pretty pink. It looks a little more nude and not as bright as it does in the tube. I'm just gonna have to give you a swatch. Okay, it still looks pretty dark in there, but I feel like because the shade is a little bit I don't know, it has like a darker undertone, which I think it makes it look more wearable and not just so dark, but I do really like it. Yes, worth it. I would repurchase. One that I would not repurchase is the What If. The What If is just like a neon pink color. I'll put it next to Ghosted so you can see it's just significantly brighter. So this is What If right here. This is Ghosted. See, it looks a little more nude compared to this one, doesn't it? I don't think this was worth it for me. It's just not a shade that I go for. I wanted something like poppy at that time, so I get it, and I do enjoy it. If I was to use something like that, I would reach for this shade, but not worth it. No. This on display, this is a shade that I really like. It's like a dark red, like a true red. See next to this one, this was more red, this was more pink. I really do enjoy it, but I don't reach for this kind of shade. I found out that my favorite shade is actually from Lara Los Santos, and it's called Kismes. So yeah, some of them are worth it, some of them aren't. I actually do think this is a really good formula. I think they're really affordable, and I would recommend them if you were to be picking something up from ColourPop. Okay. Another one's from ColourPop. So this was spring 2018. They were coming out with this huge lip collection. There were so many shades, and there was this one particular shade that caught my eye, and I was like, I have to have it. And it was this one right here, Mucho. And I'll swatch it, and it's very similar to What If. So this is Mucho right here, this is What If. Essentially the same shade. These are all in the satin formula, by the way. I actually do enjoy these. So I bought Mucho, or I wanted Mucho. Like I was like, I'm getting Mucho no matter what. It's like a reddish pinky shade, and I'm like, I have to have it. So when I was there at the website, that like everything came to launch, so this was already going to be an impulse buy, and then I realized they were selling like little like bundles. You don't have to get the entire collection, but they were selling like bundles of 3s of the collection. And along with that bundle, Mucho came in a bundle with Be Okay, which is the shade right here, and Fortune Favors, which I was like, oh, I like those shades, those warm colors. Yes, those will go really nicely along. And so instead of buying one shade, I ended up buying 3. I've only used these a handful of times. I do enjoy them. I will say that I do enjoy them, but I just very rarely reach for these kind of shades. And I think it's hard to pair these kinds of shades, you know, with like looks and stuff. And you'll be surprised, even though, I mean, even Be Okay. Be Okay looks like a really soft shade. It actually packs a punch that I don't know that anyone was expecting that. But do you see that? Like that packs a punch. Like that is a lot darker than you may think. And then you have Fortune Favors, which is, I definitely did not need Fortune Favors. Like, it's like a corally orange shade. I mean, they're really nice. It's right here, Fortune Favors. They're really nice shades, and I like the formula. They haven't gone bad, because like I said, I do check my lip products relatively often to make sure they haven't gone bad, because I'm really scared of that. But did I need them? No. Am I gonna try to finish them this year? Hell yes. So there's that. It was not worth it. I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid of me. Like, so stupid of me. Alright, older make ColourPop. When I was first starting out my eyeshadow palette collection, I really didn't have much to go off. My first like nice eyeshadow palette that I can like remember like regularly using is the Tarte's Pro palette. And me and my sister had gone to Sephora, and we were trying to like figure it out, and I was between that one and the Modern Renaissance, but I wasn't really attracted to the Modern Renaissance formula, and I also felt not formula but color story at that time, and I also felt like the Tarte's Pro had some similar colors and then some more on top of that, so I ended up going with that one. And shortly after that, I discovered Morphe through L'Oreal Los Angeles, and shortly after that, I discovered ColourPop. And so I went through a bunch of videos trying to see which was like the best palettes for me to buy at that time. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna go on the website and see what calls me. And that's how I ended up with this three right here. So that's gonna be ColourPop Double Entendre, which, you know, I do have pan on. I actually have pan on all these palettes. I bought this in 2018 when I was first starting to build my makeup collection. And I have Give It To Me Straight, just this one right here. And again, hit pan on it. And then I have Cute AF, which again, hit pan on it. I do have a video with all three of these palettes. I do think that these three palettes, like if you have no makeup whatsoever and these are the first three palettes that you buy, you have a these are very like dupeable of other palettes. Like Give It To Me Straight gives me Modern Renaissance vibes, gives me Cat's Pajamas vibes, gives me Color Rain vibes. There's just so many palettes that this gives me vibes to. This, I mean, Toasted, let's go with Bronze from Natasha Denona. So many palettes, like it just reminds me of. This again reminds me of Natasha Denona, Sunrise and the Sunset, whichever one of those two. There is just so many Melt from, again, I go over that in that video. So I do think there were smart decisions for me to make at that time because I didn't have colors like this in my collection before. And since I've made that video, a lot of times now when I see a collection like that, I'm like, oh no, I already have that on ColourPop, I don't need it. So I do think this was completely worth it. Very smart decisions for me, because since then I've tried not to buy palettes like this because I'm like, oh wait, that reminds me of this, that reminds me of that. And it's almost always, if I see a palette that's somewhat neutral and when like little pops of color, I'm always reminded of these three palettes. So completely worth it. I think if you're somebody that's brand new to makeup and you're trying to start your collection, I think these are some really good palettes to get started with, just straight off the bat. And then if you want something more ColourPop, more colorful, then you can go with something with like So Jaded. So if you had, like if you were like brand new to makeup, you're like, I'm not sure what I need, get the So Jaded and these three palettes, you're set. You're set. Absolutely set. There's very little that will come out that you wouldn't already have in these four palettes right here. This is a starter kit right here. All right, moving along. Old ColourPop. I'm trying to see what else. Okay, I think that's all the old ColourPop that I've bought that I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that, at least at that time. But let's move on. Let's move along now to Makeup Geek. So when Makeup Geek did their rebrand, I believe in 2019. No, it was 2020. The rebrand in 2020, I immediately had to get on the site and have my boyfriend buy me a little quad for our anniversary, among a couple other things. I have the other two shades. They're part of my spring palette that I created for 2021. I'll link it up here so you can check it out. So I like to make a seasonal palette out of my single shadows so I can keep, you know, using them from time to time. But yeah. Complete impulse. I love Marlene. I think she's very smart. I love her YouTube channel. If you're wanting to learn how to do makeup, if you're not sure techniques and all that stuff, she goes into real detail. She has a bunch of really good content if you want to learn how to do makeup, and I trust that she's gonna come out with stuff that are good quality, and these are good quality. I mentioned this before in my disappointing videos of like makeup that disappoint me or surprise me, for the better or for the worse. I actually think this is really good quality. I made a dumb decision with the shades because I pretty much got all like pinky shades, and I haven't worn like really pinky shades in the last like year and a half. It just hasn't been what I've been into. So I made a dumb mistake with that. I should have mixed them up a little bit more and not just gone with all pinks, because the other two shades are like a pink and then like a peachy shade. Dumb mistake. But I do think the quality is worth it, not worth the color selection I made. So that's 100% on me. All right, we have the Pure X Raw Beauty Christie palette. 100% I got this for FOMO. I felt like I was missing out, and then there was a restock, and I was like, I have to get on the restock, and I just impulse bought it, and I was like, I have to get it. Like I can't be without it. I can't be the only one without this palette. And yeah, I am 50-50 on this palette, and it's quite literally because it's a 50-50 palette. I think if it was for this colorful side, yeah, I fucked up. I should have done it, because I don't, although I do like colorful shades, I don't go all out like this. I like more like half neutral, half colorful, which, I mean, granted, this is a half neutral, half colorful. For this side of the palette, absolutely great investment. Yes, worth it. But I feel like I'm probably gonna hit pan in this side of the palette, like sometime, like, it's gonna happen. I love this color story. The other side, if I use it twice this year, it'll be amazing. That's not true. I've used it more than twice this year, because it was in my eyeshadow obsessions palette thing. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not reaching for these colorful ones. So there's that. All right, we have 2 Morphe palettes. So the 24D. Absolutely, this was a fucking mistake. Excuse my language. But this was a mistake. I will say though, every time I reach for this palette, I enjoy it. Every time, I've never had any issues with the quality. It blends really well. These shimmers are beautiful. I mean, and like, I don't even know what to reach for. But look at that. They're super buttery, very buttery. I'm just gonna swatch. Look at that. Beautiful swatches. One swipe. Very nice. Very, very nice. I have no issues with the quality of it. I always enjoy my makeup when I end up using them, when I end up using it. But it's so large. Some of the things that, sorry about that. Some of the things that they like advertise when this palette come out is that you can use this for your face as well. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna use it for my face and all of this. I've not once used it for my face. Not once. Not once. The shade that caught my eyes is this shade right here, which is the shade, hold on, Glitz. Okay, so this pink shade right here, Glitz, is what made me like buy this palette. I'm confident that if I would have done this at that time, I would have gotten it. This was in 2018. My boyfriend bought it for me for I think it was Valentine's Day. I told him, like, you should buy me that for Valentine's Day. Dumb mistake. And then this palette actually came broken, this shade right here, which I think is a glossy. Yeah, glossy. And so I ended up they ended up sending me a new one. I repressed this and it looked very new. I cleaned it up and everything, so I ended up giving it to my mom. I'm like, I should have known at that point, like, you're so stupid. Yeah, no, this thing is so bulky. I think it's about the same size as this James Charles palette, if not slightly larger, and it has significantly less shades. Again, I have no problem with the quality, but I almost never reach for it, and it's still very neutral, even with that one pink in it. So I could dupe that pink 100 times over in my collection, and most of the shades I can. It was so dumb, and there's so much product. Holy bejesus. It's 84 grams for this whole thing, so 24 divided by 84. Jesus Christ, doing math on the internet. 24, 48, 62. 84. So it's 4 grams. It's 4 grams per shadow. That's a lot. It's a lot of product. All right, next one, Jaclyn Hill X Morphe. I was very disappointed. Oh, at that time, I had gotten the 25-0, and I was like, I don't know about this one. Oh, 35-0, sorry. And then I had gotten the 35-02 because I thought, oh, that's a step up from it, right? So I was one for it, and I'm like, it's just this neutrals. I'm like kind of not feeling it. And then that's when I heard about the Jaclyn Hill palette, and this again was in 2018. And so I was like, I need it. So I went into Ulta and I just bought it. This was worth it for me. I know that this is not the same formula as the original one. Jen Loves Reviews did a whole video about that. I personally still like it. I think it's really good quality. I enjoy it. I never have any issues with it. I like the colors. They blend really well for me. They're pigmented. They're buildable. I've never had any issues with this palette. I like the color story. There's a lot of really good shade of neutrals. Only thing I wish I had is like it's like a soft pink to put in the transition shade, because this, although they lean a little pink, they're not quite pink. And I feel like because there's so many pink shades, I feel like it would have been nice to have something that was a little more pink. But I like that she has some cooler tones. I really, really enjoy this palette. This palette is the one that got me into color, and I like it. Think whatever you want about Jaclyn Hill. I personally have never been subscribed to her. I've never really watched any of her videos before. I mean, I've watched like maybe 1 or 2 because YouTube's like, you may want to watch this, and if I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So I've only watched like a handful of her videos. I personally have no personal feelings attached to the name of Jaclyn Hill, and I've never this is the only product I've tried that she has some sort of association with, except for Champagne Pop from Becca. Those are the only two products so I personally have no feelings towards her whatsoever, but I do think this is good quality, and I do enjoy it, and I do recommend it, and I think it was worth it, even though it was a complete impulse. But there's that. All right, we have the lip bar. So Kelly Gooch has gone on and on about the lip bar, how they were Detroit, they're a Detroit-based brand, black woman owned, and so I was like, you know what, I want to give it a try. Kelly has rave about it so much, and then I was at Target and I realized the lip bar is at my Target now, and I was like, ooh. This was a purchase in 2020 once I moved to this house, and I was there. I'm like, ooh. So I was basically going through all of their stuff, and I'm like, I need to find one thing. I'm gonna try at least one thing from this brand. I ended up buying this lip gloss, which I really enjoyed because it was actually ended up being a dupe for the Alicia Ashley and Elf lip gloss collab, and I finished that one already, so I'm glad I have a dupe for it, and I really do enjoy it. This is the lip gloss in Bourgois. I know I'm spelling that wrong, but I really do enjoy it. So there's that. And then Fenty. When Fenty first came out, I was like, I need to try something from Fenty, but I was like, I wasn't sure what to get. And so I was going through like their minis, and they had a mini of this highlighter and their gloss. And everyone was raving about Fenty's highlighters and glosses at the time. Like, well, perfect. I'm gonna try it. So I snatched it up, and I was like, great. This is really great duo mini. I think they still sell it. Like I feel like this was so successful. It really does give you a good taste for what like the brand is like and what it is to expect from them. And I really do enjoy it. I enjoy that lip gloss. Let me tell you, that lip gloss had 0.18. I still remember 0.18 ounces of product. That is more than some full-time. No, it's not full-time, but full-size lip products. This highlighter it's not nearly as much as 0.07, but really nice quality. I've actually hit pan on this highlighter, and I finished the lip gloss. I did not repurchase the lip gloss. I did, for my preference, it was a little thick. If I had happened to come to my, into my life again, I'm sure I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it while I had it. I just didn't feel like I needed to repurchase it. Same feeling with this highlighter. I just didn't feel like I needed to repurchase it, but I really did enjoy them. I like them a lot, and because of those two products, I always feel like I have good things to say about Fenty. I just haven't tried more from them, but I did enjoy them. I did think it was worth it, and it gave me that fix that I needed at the time, and just so I can like kind of get over it. And I'm really happy I did that. So Rare Beauty, another brand that as soon as it came out, I was like, I need to try something from him. From there, I don't know what, but I'm gonna try something out. And so I went into Sephora, and I was like looking through all their stuff. I was looking it up. I ended up buying two things, which is the gloss, sorry, not the gloss, the blush in Joy, which I do think is a little bit too warm tone, but I really did like this formula. And then I also bought the tinted lip balm in Support. Really like it. In fact, I enjoyed them so much that I ended up buying more Rare Beauty stuff. So there's that. I like them. I really do enjoy them. I'm happy I bought them, and I want to try more from the brand. There's a lot of things that intrigue me from that brand, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I think that's all of the non-ColourPop. So now let's go back to new ColourPop. The ColourPop that I knew better, and I still didn't. Alright, so first off, 2020, the Mulan collection. I love Mulan. She's my favorite princess, and she's not even a princess. She was so amazing, so heroic, that they added her to the Disney Princess lineup, even though she's the only one that does not qualify. Literally, they made an exception just for her. That's how effing amazing Mulan is. I love her. So I had to buy something from that collection, and I was just like, I'm not sure what to get. So I ended up getting the Hua Mulan lipstick because I was like, this is a safe bet. I liked the formula. I know it was going to be the cream formula, which I already knew I liked. And I thought the color was going to be really nice and easy. And it is. It's like a soft pinky. It's similar to Layover. So I have Layover. I'm wearing Layover right now. Again, this is the Hua Mulan. And let's see if I can... Oh, perfect. First one I grabbed, Layover. And then Layover is right there. It's very, very similar. Layover is slightly darker. And Hua Mulan is slightly pinker as well. Not sure how well you guys are going to see that right there. But... see that Layover is the one right here, and it's just slightly darker and slightly more neutral versus it was a little more pink. So impulse buy, completely impulse buy. I really wanted to buy the red liquid lipstick as well as a fan, but I was like, girl, stop, like stop right there. Actually, but I didn't. I did end up buying the blush in the shade Good Luck Charm. By the way, completely worth it. I'm really happy I got it. It is a shade that I would wear many times. And I would end up keeping the packaging. Like, this packaging will be staying in my collection even once that's done. This, however, this was not worth it. I do like the formula. I've always liked the ColourPop formula. And I think it's very pretty. The compact's pretty. I'll probably keep the compact once I finish this blush. I will finish this blush. I usually go through my blushes relatively quickly. And I say relatively, I'll usually finish about 1 or 2 per year pretty consistently. The most I've ever finished is 3 blushes in 1 year. So I go through them somewhat quickly. But this blush, I'm not sure if you guys are gonna be able to see that. I'm gonna a little close up. But there is like some like micro glitters in this blush, and they're very golden micro glitters, and you can see them. Sometimes if I'm wearing this blush, I catch my reflection on the side, and I'm like, ooh, my face is glittery. Yes, these glitters will be picked up on your face. They will be noticeable at times, not all the time, right? But they are somewhat noticeable. This was a dumb mistake. I should have looked into the formula a little bit more. I just knew that the other shade was way too light for me and it was not gonna work for me. But this looked like a nice shade, and it reminded me a little bit of Construct from the Proceed with Caution collection. So I was like, maybe, dumb mistake. I really like the packaging though. I can't wait to use more about this. You know, I can't wait to keep this packaging and then like repress other things inside it so I can keep using it. So can't wait to finish this eventually, although it is in my Take a Planning project pan for now. All right. Earlier in 2020, yeah, it was summer of 2020, we had the Wild Nothing palette. And for a lot of people, this was not a favorite, and I totally understand why. These are very soft shades. If you have a deeper skin tone, this is not for you, except for this shade right here, No Bounds. Everything here it's very light. So I totally understand that, but I don't have anything quite like this that leads a little more cool without being ashy or gray on my skin tone, because I have such an olive skin tone. I'm always worried about that. But with these, not the problem. I like the little greens. This actually has like a little green flip to it, this little shade right here, and then obviously this is green. And I really enjoy this palette. I really like it. I think it was worth it, at least in my collection. I don't think that anybody much darker than me would enjoy it quite as much, but for me, this works. I'm really glad I bought it. Yay. And my most recent impulse buy from ColourPop is the At First Sight and Robert Christie palette. Obviously I love Robert Christie. I've always had now 2 collabs from her in here. But yeah, I mean, Christie had like the best 2020 year ever. She got pregnant after being infertile for almost a decade. 2 collabs, bought a home. I mean, she had the most amazing year. The only person that I can think that had just as good a year as her is Desi. But anyway, not the point. The point is, I freaking love this palette, yo. I made a video about like what my favorite palette, like picking my favorite shades from ColourPop and stuff like that, and I created my perfect palette from it. And when I did a comparison of that palette, imaginary palette, and this palette, they were a little too close for comfort. So this palette is super close to that, and I just feel like it's great. You have this like orangey yellowy shade, so you can do a little more warm tone looks. You have a puffball that is actually a very neutral shade. It's not cool, it's not warm, it's just right in the middle. It's perfect neutral. You have Old Growth, which is like this soft pink. This is the kind of soft pink I wish that the Jaclyn Hill palette would have had. Rainer is nice orangey shade. These are very pigmented. I definitely can tell that it's a different formula from ColourPop's regular formula. I feel like, and I don't know this for a fact, this reminds me a lot of like a pressed pigment palette, especially for these darker shades. And I've heard a lot of people say that they're having a hard time with these darker shades, and I think it's because they feel like a pressed pigment. You really can't grab and blend. You have to really like put the shadow down and then blend it out, and so that can be a little bit of more difficult for people. But this was 100% worth it. I love these shades. The only thing I wish I didn't have is this West Coast right here. I just don't usually go for yellow golds. Oh. Alright, I have to make this quick. My camera cut off. Thank God I was at the last product. yes, this is worth it. I wish they had more champagne color instead of this like bright gold. I just don't like golds like this. But yeah, this was worth it for me. I really enjoy this palette, and that's it. I really try to be very mindful of my collection and not to bring in things in impulse. I will say the only thing that I did not mention is Laura Los Angeles, because Laura Los Angeles in general, I just love that palette, that brand so much, and I feel very good about all the purchases and everything that I've ever bought from them, except for like a handful of things here and there. I get something like 3 or 4 products that I've like probably should have done that. I pretty much buy everything from Laura Los Angeles 100% impulse, but I've enjoyed everything, and I know I'm making a smart bet when I buy from her, and she doesn't release overwhelmingly a lot where I feel like, oh, this is stupid, I really shouldn't. So I feel good about it. Persona Cosmetics is another brand that I'm starting to feel a little bit like that, so I'm always on the lookout for whatever it is that she has to, you know, come out with. But everything that I bought from her so far, I've waited months in order before I make the purchase to make sure it was the right choice for me. And that's it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.